All right, we got a new article here from Bloomberg with some shockingly good news for us. 100,000 green jobs announced since the U.S. adopted climate law, study finds. Since the Inflation Reduction Act became law, companies have said they'll create jobs in wind and solar energy, EV manufacturing, and other clean energy sectors, according to the group Climate Power. So they continue here. Between late last August, when President Joe Biden's landmark climate bill became law, and the end of January, companies have announced more than 100,000 clean energy jobs in the U.S., according to an analysis released Monday by the nonprofit advocacy group Climate Power. The group monitored press clippings and company announcements to estimate private sector jobs across a range of sectors that aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, including electric vehicle and battery manufacturing, wind and solar energy, and home energy efficiency. The group says its figure is likely a lowball estimate because it relied on public reports. Climate Power has identified more than 90 new clean energy projects in 31 states that have been announced since Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act, representing a total of nearly $90 billion in new investment. So let's pause here to make this point. I've always made the argument, to appeal to the right, you need to use their value system. You need to take the framework they already have and use that against them to say, hey, this is something you should care about. Now, when it comes to climate change, the answer is easy, guys. It's not about like, oh, let's reduce the carbon emissions. You say stuff like that, lefties are like, right on, let's do it. Correctly so. But you say that to a right-winger, they're like, man, I don't really care about that, right? We need oil, we need gas. This is the stuff they'd say. What you have to say is jobs. Hey, you want to fight back against climate change? We'll have a jobs revolution. We'll create so many new jobs. There'll be decent pay with those jobs. We'll create patents that will, the rest of the world will be jealous that we came up with certain technologies and we're leading the charge on certain technologies. And so you have, basically a new industrial revolution waiting to happen on this front. We just have to show the initiative, take the initiative. And so if you frame it from the jobs perspective, you're going to get less pushback than if it's primarily about like, hey, let's reduce pollution and carbon emissions and stuff like that. I'm not saying those things are wrong. They're not. They're correct. But when you're talking to somebody who doesn't already agree with you on those things, you have to frame it from their perspective. And from their perspective, you go, jobs, man, jobs. We need to create jobs, right? Most of those projects are in 7 states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. Georgia has attracted the most investment so far. The group found with roughly $15 billion worth of projects in the pipeline that are expected to produce close to 17,000 jobs. Clean energy projects in the state include a $2.5 billion solar panel factory and new battery plants outside of Atlanta to supply Hyundai and Kia electric vehicles. Quote, the economic boom is starting, and it's starting because of clean energy and the investments made in the Inflation Reduction Act, said Lori Lodes, awesome name, Climate Power's executive director and co-founder. This really is just the beginning. Okay, so look, great news, man. Great news. And this is a lot of what Biden was talking about in the State of the Union. It was very economic focused. That's what he came out of the gate with. And a fact I like to bring up all the time is that for the first time in my life, we have onshored 350,000 jobs. We've been outsourcing these jobs or offshoring these jobs my whole life. And now for the first time ever, it's going the other way. Now, why that's the case, it's a debate and it's a discussion. A lot of it has to do with, I think, national security interests, because we see what happens in the pandemic. If China shuts down their economy, we're very reliant on them. So we're screwed if they do that. So now we kind of rebuild supply lines and start here and make a lot more stuff here. Has to do with microchip manufacturing, electric vehicle stuff. Now we have everything going on here with green technology. So 100,000 in just that sector alone. Look, when you incentivize it for the private sector, give them an incentive to do these things, they're going to do it. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And so massive W, and we'll take it. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.